A fruit bowl at a salad bar is full of apples and oranges. After 16 apples are eaten, 3 oranges remain for each remaining apple. Then 16 oranges are eaten and 3 apples remain for each remaining orange. How many apples were in the bowl before any were eaten? This is a fairly complicated scenario. The question says after 16 apples are eaten, 3 oranges remain for each remaining apple. That's why I chose a circle, which is not one apple. It's an unknown quantity of apples plus 16 to represent the original number of apples. Since after 16 apples were eaten, there were 3 oranges for every remaining apple, I chose 3 circles to represent the number of the original number of oranges. And this is an important step, and you want to make sure you understand it. For instance, let's go over this once again. After 16 apples are eaten, the number of oranges is 3 times the number of apples. So if this is 5, this has to be 15. If this is 10, if the circle if the top circle represents 10, the bottom 3 circles must represent 30. And this is an important step, and you want to make sure you understand it. Let's look at the second part of the problem. Then 16 oranges are eaten and 3 apples remain for each remaining orange. What does that mean? Well, we're being told that after 16 oranges were eaten, the number of oranges came down so much that for every single orange there were 3 apples, or there were 3 times as many apples as oranges. That tells me that from the orange section, I need to remove a bunch of oranges and about this much. I need to remove this. That's the only way the number of apples will be 3 times the number of oranges. And this is the hardest part of the problem. You want to pause here and reflect. So the question is, I had originally 3 circles representing the total number of oranges. I took each of those circles and cut it into 3 pieces. Why 3? Because I want to make the number of remaining oranges 1/3 the number of remaining apples. Now, if 16 oranges were eaten, these pieces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 pieces must represent 16 oranges. In other words, each sliver or each 1/3 of a circle must represent 16 divided by 8 or 2. Each 1/3 of this circle should represent 2 oranges. And this is the hardest part of the problem. You want to pause here and reflect. And you want to make sure you understand what's going on. So this is a carryover from the last slide. We established that each 1/3 of a circle represents 2 oranges or 2 apples. And we are at the final stage of our problem, and we are being asked how many apples were in the bowl before any were eaten. Of course, the answer will be this circle here also represents 6 apples. This circle represents 6 apples. Therefore, the answer will be 6 plus 16 or 22. Let's write it down. 6 plus 16 equal to 22. Now, they didn't ask how many oranges were there to begin with, but we can find out that as well. It was 18. 6 times 3, 18. There were 18 oranges in the bowl to begin with. Now, the math works out very well if you double check.